One small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
What's up, guys? It's the Faruqi Bros back with another video, and today for you guys we want to discuss the Joker. The film is getting huge rave ratings from Venice Film Festival and now Toronto Film Festival, where it just screened yesterday, and there's so much discussion coming out of it, whether it be Joker winning an Academy Award, whatever the case might be. But one thing we want to focus in on today is the idea that Joker is not connected to any universe. You know, there was an interview yesterday with Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, and they asked both of them, is this movie or is this Joker connected to Robert Pattinson or Matt Reeves in any way? And they said, no, definitely not. That's the exact quote. No, definitely not. So, taking it at face value, this movie is going to be completely disconnected. It's a one-shot, darker, rated R movie. Now, will this movie, if it's successful, and if it leads to an Oscar, will it usher in an era of more movies like this that are disconnected and are more auteur? Or do you think that this is just one diamond in the rough and it's going to be back to cinematic universes after this movie? So I'll open up the panel with Zion. What do you think about Joker, and where do you think it's going to go? I think Joker, obviously, like you said, the reaction to it, the positive reaction to it, is the most important thing, especially in terms of awards. So even if it doesn't make as much money as it could, even though I'm pretty sure it'll make a lot of money, just the name Joker will get people to watch. But just the critical reception being good, I think will be a game changer for like comic book films in general. And unlike Deadpool, which is rooted in comedy, this is a serious rated R film that delves into more psychological, deeper topics. So I don't think it's gonna be an abandonment of cinematic universes as a whole. But I think this will be a good bridge into there being less pressure for studios to make a cinematic universe to match up with Marvel. And I think my personal opinion is having separate, either one-off or little mini like worlds, like Batman's own little circle of films, and then you have Joker separate. I think that's fine because DCEU, there's already really no such thing as a DCEU. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, they're like the last remnants, but even they're so loosely connected, and I don't think they're even going to meet anymore in any Justice League film, because I don't think it's going to be a Justice League film anymore. But so we're already there, and DC's already at that point where things are separate. So we don't need to be MCU where there's 20 films and they're all connected by one last post-credit scene or something, and then have one big film. That was good. We saw how it worked with MCU, but now with Joker, like this pushing a new avenue and a new wave that I think will be great, especially for DC films to follow, because a lot of the best DC source material is dark. So why should they hide away from it? And I'm not saying it should all be dark, but I guess that parity between, you can have dark standalone films and have light films also, and just that balance I think is perfect going forward.
I think from a studio standpoint, I think Joker's going to change their outlook on making films like similar to the MCU's tone, which is really good, because that's the thing, is one of the issues that a lot of us have had with the recent DC films. They don't feel like they're following the Christopher Nolan, Zack Snyder era of like darker, taking the character seriously. They're taking the character seriously, but in a different fashion, which is fine. I also think that because of the business model that was set by Marvel, I think slowly, like if Joker made $1 billion, I think then we're having a different conversation. But I don't think that's going to happen. But I think the fact that a movie like that makes that type of money with the critical reception, that is like, that's basically proof for them. That was like the trial run that they tried with the Joker. It worked basically. Like that's the world telling them that yes, this is the new like era. And I think honestly, with Marvel's next phase, DC should take risks, and they are to their credit, they are taking risks, and then see what does well. I mean, the Joker's already doing well, and it's not even out yet. It's doing well. If Birds of Prey, which is also going to be another R-rated film, does well, yeah, like I feel like I think the future is dark for DC. They gotta buy into that. I wish they bought it more when we had guys like Zack Snyder working. I mean, it's whatever now. But I'm excited to see where they go.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on one of the points. I feel like Joker will make a lot of money. About Joker not making a lot of money. It's already gotten the Golden Lion Award at the Venice Film Festival, and it got good reviews at the Toronto Film Festival also. So I feel like with all the good reviews, it would. And think what you said about recasting Superman and Batman and all that. There will always be like reboots because Superman and Batman are like billion-dollar characters. So for now, I think
no, but he's saying that if Matt Reeves' Batman is separate, they're not gonna cast a different Batman just to be in Justice League,
They're not gonna make a Justice League. That's what I was saying. I was saying that they're not freaking making. They're going back to that shit after they failed.
Sure, Samir, go ahead. You're finishing your point, or that was it?
I feel like they're still gonna stick with the DCEU whole thing. Like, you know what the original plan was? They make separate movies for each, and instead of like a big whole connected universe. They'll still probably go for that, I think.
And I think just on all your points, I think we discussed right on the business side of it, where cinematic universes are the thing. And I think you guys misunderstood my question in the sense where I'm not saying that it's one or the other, that, everything's Elseworld or everything is DC Universe. I think there should be parity in the sense where not every single movie should be the summer blockbuster, we need to hit $1 billion or it's a failure kind of movie. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. That's how the MCU looks at it. It's because every single MCU is your summer, crowd-pleasing, popcorn-eating, family fun blockbuster. That's every single movie. They've never gotten away from that formula. And because they don't, the crowd will always come because it's a crowd pleaser, But my thing is that superhero movies and comic book movies in general, they don't all have to be crowd pleasers. Some of them can be character studies. Now, the last character study we had before Joker was Logan, right? So rated R, it was very low budget, focusing just on Logan, his final story, his death. Even that movie was part of the cinematic universe. It was part of the X-Men cinematic universe. But they still didn't care too much about continuity. They didn't care about explaining too many things. They just want to tell the story of Logan's death. And that's what they did, and they did pretty well, right? And that movie made okay at the box office, made $600 million around so, which is what Umar said for Joker, and I agree with them there. I think it's going to even out at 600-700 because rated R movies don't make that much. Even a movie like It, which is like what you consider horror event film, I think the first movie made what, 700, 750, something like that. So R-rated movies don't hit billion, but that's really good. Yeah, exactly. But there's a different bar set for R-rated movies. That's why it blew everything out of the water. Yeah, but that's why I'm not giving Joker you have to hit $1 billion. It's fine if it's 600. A 600 for an R-rated movie is like $1 billion. And remember, this movie is zero CGI. You know what that means? Budget is very low. Everything was done on camera. Everything was shot on set. There's no need. Yeah, there's expenses, but there's no need for very expensive visual effects and computer-generated imagery and all that. You save all the costs. It's not like this is Aquaman.
The character allows you to do that. Though.
Exactly, yeah.
Aquaman, you cannot do that. Wonder Woman 1984, you cannot do that.
No, exactly. So I'm saying that, do you think there should be more character studies like that? Where before we end the discussion, what should Delby care on more, the money or critical accolades? Which no Marvel movie won Academy Award, right? Well, Black Panther won 3 Oscars, but they didn't win any Oscars for Best Picture. They all won it for sound design, for costume design. No superhero film ever won the Best Picture award. Ever. And The Dark Knight was actually supposed to be nominated, but at the time, the Academy Award only nominated 5 films, and they did not nominate Dark Knight because the Academy hates superhero movies. They always did, and they always will. That's because they don't consider original work. Yeah, but slowly that's changing. I think Joker might be the first one.
I think even with even with the way Robert Downey Jr. went out, I think there's some people that think that he should win something.
Yeah, I think Marvel's going to campaign for it, but I don't agree
with them because I know why they're saying that bullshit. But I think
if Hugh Jackman didn't get a nomination for his final movie with Logan, I think Robert Downey Jr. shouldn't go for Endgame because Endgame is not even his best work. On a business standpoint, it should be a no-brainer for them to say, let's invest more into these low-budget character studies, standalone. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying,
Guys, the thing is, even in a cinematic universe, if you do a character study in a cinematic universe, it'll still work. Like it'll still, like you could still do a character study in the cinematic universe, which is what, I mean, let's not even freaking joke. Like that's what Zack Snyder was trying to do when he was around. And that's why the only difference is, and like I don't get too deep into it, but the only difference is like the cut that they freaking put out. He cut out 30 minutes of his stuff, and he had a rated R. Like his cut is rated R. Like you know what I mean? Like he was already doing like what these people are doing now. Like he was kind of already doing. So
yeah, I think no, you're right. Weird. And I think even in Dark Knight trilogy, I think you can consider the Dark Knight Rises. I think the Dark Knight Rises was a Bruce Wayne character study. You know, so I think there's a lot of there are times, but I think
this is a perfect. I can pull a Shiraz here and just say that go on ComicBook Debate and read my article, Bruce Wayne. What was it?
Quintessential
Bruce Wayne story.
Yeah. So that's a really.
Also, you can check out Shiraz's Ultimate Immigrant Story.
Yes, sir. But no, actually, I agree with all that. I think it's very difficult to do it in the universe. I think it is possible because again, Logan is part of the X-Men universe, and it was a character study. And again,
look how many liberties they took with the timeline.
Yeah,
and how
I think when you're doing a character study, you can't care too much about timeline. The only reason Man of Steel and Batman v Superman worked is because the same director was doing both. But if someone else stepped in for Batman v Superman, it would never be the same thing. So it's hard to do a character study unless the whole thing is one person.
Far From Home is a perfect example of that.
That's why you get it.
Because things like that, they feel like they have to keep reminding you that we're a part of the cinematic universe, we're in this world, remember this, remember that, and that's what holds it back from really diving into the character itself.
Well, that's why I'm happy Spider-Man's gone from the MCU, because we might get a good Spider-Man film again. Low-key. But let's talk about now this next small topic, right? A few years ago, there was a heavy rumor, actually not a rumor, the Hollywood Reporter reported this, that DC wants to make a secondary label called Black Label or something that around that named point. And under that Black Label is going to be all the movies that are not part of the DCEU. And they're going to be one-shot, very focused, character-driven stories that directors and actors like Joaquin Phoenix would never have done a Joker movie if it was part of a universe, ever. Yeah. He would have said no, because he doesn't want to sign up for more than one film. And to Umar's point, even Ben Affleck's not a cinematic universe guy. So he only wanted to sign up for 3-4 movies. I might come back for any more than that. And rumors
they're not these 10-year
and rumors are they ain't signing Robert Pattinson any Justice League movie. They just signed him for 3 movies, and they're just his trilogy. So it's one of those weird things where a lot of actors, especially A-list actors, they don't like doing cinematic universes. Name even one A-lister who does cinematic universes.
And that's why I think with Ben Affleck it was kind of interesting too, because I think the reason he kind of really left was he signed on to make a very specific like storyline, and obviously with Justice League it got destroyed. But even with his own like, he kept talking about a script that he was working on, and then we had J.O. Leave on our podcast before, and he told us that script was freaking nuts. And then we also got some news recently, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, about how he wanted to dive into like the psychological aspects of what makes Batman Batman. So it's basically a character study, which is great. I mean, I think that's where DC is at its absolute best. Like when they're diving really deep into whatever they're.
Yeah, you know, I said this before, and I'm actually said before. I'm saying an upcoming article I'm writing, but Marvel might be much better than DC when it comes to commercial success, like commercially. But Marvel doesn't change the genre. DC changed the genre every time. Superman the movie came out in 1978. There was no such thing as superhero movies. That movie came out, changed the genre. Oh, super movies died again for a little while. The Dark Knight came and completely rewrote the genre.
Batman 89 came.
Batman 89 changed the genre to make it darker, make it more gothic style. Then Dark Knight came out. So these movies, they come every 5, 10, 20 years, and then they just flip the genre, you know? And Marvel doesn't do that. I think Spider-Man 2 came closest. Spider-Man 2 won an Oscar for Best Visual Effects, and I think it did change the genre for visual effects. I think visual effects were nothing until Spider-Man 2 happened and showed you this is how visual effects are done. And it changed the way. And then it won an Oscar for that, and then it paved the way for now movies. Honestly, we've watched Spider-Man 2 right now. It looks a little better CGI-wise than even Far From Home. So
it holds up.
It holds up, meaning, yeah. So the point I'm making again is the Elseworlds thing. So, and I'll give this question to Samir. Do you think, Samir, that they should make 2 different kind of lines franchise lines. One franchise line is the DCEU, which is your regular Shazam, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, etc. And then one other universe, not a universe, but another franchise, which is just Elseworlds films like Joker, Matt Reeves' Batman, the rumored Red Sun movie. Remember they came to the guy who made King Kong, that movie. Forgot his name, but they apparently asked him, "Do you want to make a Superman Red Sun movie that's not part of the universe?" And that deal almost happened, and didn't happen. So these kind of movies, like I think that's the potential. Like I want to see a Red Sun movie, and a Red Sun movie cannot happen in the DCEU context. It can only happen with a different actor.
Imagine a Red Sun movie, Ben Affleck and Gal.
Okay, first of all, if a Red Sun movie came out, Affleck and Henry Cavill, people lose their minds. But I don't think Henry Cavill can do a Russian accent. You got to make it more like down to earth, you know. But either way, so Samir, what do you think? But Samir, do you think there should be two different franchise lines, or do you think Joker should be just a one and done, and they shouldn't worry about more out of universe movies?
Thing is, it's hard to see what the goal is for Warner Brothers right now. It's like they have the Trench movie in line. Like I don't see the point of that movie even happening for.
I think that's done.
Anything.
I freaking agree with that shit.
What?
But I agree with you.
What do you mean? I feel like they should just like work towards making, like they want to make money, right? So no, I feel like the whole Elseworld thing is not it.
Imagine the Elseworlds like thing does so well that they're like, all right, let's make a universe out of these guys that already set.
That'd
be so weird.
No, but I think Elseworlds, like, you know, what movies can you make in Elseworlds? You know, you put movies like Joker, you put movies like Red Sun. Red Sun, I think, is very ambitious. I think I'd be very surprised if they pull it off.
I think if they're smart, they're gonna do both.
That's what I was saying. Do both.
The DCEU is like whatever it is. It's doing better. Aquaman made $1 billion. Shazam got a good critical response, and that was also like low budget, so they made money. I think Wonder Woman 1984 will do well. So keep that going as long as you want. But then, if the DC Elseworlds or the DC Black Label, whatever you want to call it, does much better, then you can still connect. Like Pattinson and Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, even though I saw, I think it was Variety or whatever, they said that. I think Todd Phillips said that, no, it's not going to happen. But you never know, because at the end of it, if both those movies did like crazy well, and then you're going to bridge them both together,
it would make $1 billion.
People are going to show up for that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to make $1 billion easy. Pretty easy. So, and Matt Reeves' Batman's going to make $1 billion anyways. I feel like his movie's going to make $1 billion regardless. Like, no matter how dark or how rated R he makes it, it's going to make $1 billion.
No, but you like this. A lot of people are saying they want a Lex Luthor movie after this, right? You're hearing everywhere they want a Lex Luthor movie, and I'm actually down for it. Like, if you get like a really A-list actor, like I can't think of one on top of my head, like Bryan Cranston or something, like an A-lister to show up and put an A-list director on top of him and say, all right, you two make it.
Mahershala as Lex.
Like, I honestly, I would watch a Mahershala Ali Lex Luthor movie,
and
but
just show him like psychologically.
That would be freaking nuts.
I'm saying he could pull Lex Luthor off, and here's how you do it. Like I was saying, there's a book called Lex Luthor, The Man of Steel, right? It's a great book. If you guys didn't read it, you should read it. In that book, Superman barely shows up. He's like a hovering guy. Like, he's at the windowsill, you see his silhouette. He's like torturing. It's like Lex Luthor's inner thoughts, like how he's constantly tortured by Superman, how much he hates him and why he hates them, right? And he has this whole complex that he wants to be the savior of the world, but Superman came in, and now he's the savior, and now Lex himself feels very small and diminished, and then that just fuels him to be more and more powerful. And then what kind of steps he takes to try to kill Superman. Superman doesn't even show up in that book, and the one time he does, he's in the background just looking at Lex with red eyes. Like, and even that could be a hallucination. Like, it's such a good story for a exact movie like this, like an Elseworlds movie where it's not connected to any universe, just like a character study on Lex. Like, what is Lex Luthor? Why does he think the way he does? What is Superman to him? That could really work.
Isn't he already Blade?
He is already Blade. So realistically, he's not going to sign up for Lex, but unless it is a one-off movie. But MCU, apparently, Kevin Feige makes all their Marvel actors sign contracts that once you sign for their movie, you cannot go to DC. So sorry for people who want to see Perry White again. He ain't come back. So what do you guys think about the DCEU, Joker, and the potential of a DC Elseworlds banner to come from Joker. Do you think Joker is going to do good for the comic book movie medium or bad for it? Wherever side you sit on, let us know in the comments below. And remember to like and subscribe to get first look at our next video, including a bunch of New York Comic Con coverage. From myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Faruqi Bros. We'll see you next time. Peace out.